Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV with your college football top 25 preview video for week number 12, this Saturday, November the 19th. Normally late in the season we have 4 or 5 top 25 matchups each week. It's a lighter card this week because the SEC and the ACC are playing a lot of non-conference weaker opponents. But we do have 2 big top 25 matchups in the Pac-12. I'm going to give you a free preview of both of those games, give you my mathematical database simulation projections, my matchup analysis, and where I see value. And since there's just those 2 head-to-head top 25s, I'm going to give you 2 bonus games that were just a bit outside for making the cut. So 4 previews for you, 4 big college football plays and games free for you here on Wager Talk TV in just a moment. My college football top 25 preview for week 12 this Saturday, November the 19th. Quick reminder, all sports is in full effect right now, to say the least. Baseball finished a few weeks ago, but we've got the other 4 major sports that I handicap going right now. It is the deepest and best time of the year to be an all-access client. College and pro football almost on a daily basis, and definitely NBA and college basketball on a daily basis. And how would you like to get the rest of November for free? That's right, F-R-E-E, free. Here's the deal. Black Friday is coming early this week at WagerTalk.com because I'm offering the rest of the month of November for free when you purchase December. It's quite simple. Go to my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Purchase December for $2.99 and you get the rest of November for free. That's a full half month for free. So don't delay. If you're watching this video on Friday night or if you're catching this on Saturday afternoon, get on board right now. Get my 5 strong college football best bets for this Saturday. Get all of my NFL best bets for Sunday and Monday night. In fact, get everything for the rest of November for free. December is probably the best month of the year to be playing because, once again, all 4 major sports are going, plus all the college bowl games as well. If you're going to get December, why wait? Get it now and get the next 2 weeks, the rest of November, for free. Works out to less than $7 a day, less than $3 per play for every best bet, every sport for the rest of the year for 2022. No promo code needed, but it's on my page only right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. You can get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. By December, get the rest of November free. All sports, every football and basketball play every day and night for the rest of 2022. All right, I do have 5 strong college football best bets for Saturday. Going to look at the 4 big previews here for the top 25 games here as we do every week. Those of you that are new to the video, what I do is I give you my math projection. It's quite simple. Well, it's not simple, but the concept is simple. I run 10,000 game simulations in my database with a lot of different metrics, and we come out with an average result, and that lets you know where the line value is in these games. And then I dig in deeper from a situational analytical perspective and let you know if I think there's value with those particular sides. As I mentioned, it's a fairly light week top 25 action because the SEC, the ACC are taking the games off. Next week, by the way, we have a huge Big Ten top 3 battle between Ohio State and Michigan. But the Pac-12 did their part this week. They gave us 2 true head-to-head top 25 matchups. So let's start with the first one at 8 o'clock Eastern Saturday night on Fox. Number 7, USC. Don't have to travel far to play in-city rival number 16, UCLA. USC currently, as we head into the weekend, is about a 2.5-point favorite across the board. That's where this line is opened. It has not moved all week. Total 73.5 has been bet higher to 76.5. I think the line should be 2.5. However, my math simulation says the wrong team is favored here in this game, and I project UCLA by 2.5. So there is value with the Bruins in this game. I think the wrong team is favored, and I do think UCLA wins this one outright. So now let's dig deeper at the matchup and see if we can find some value. And I think we can find some good situational analysis here to favor the Bruins. First of all, we get some line value because UCLA had a bad loss last week as a 20-point favorite against Arizona. They lost outright 34-28. Put up over 460 yards of offense. So nothing's really broken here. I think it was maybe just a flat spot looking ahead to this USC game. Meanwhile, the Trojans had a big loss at Utah a month ago, back in the middle of October, when they lost 43-42 as a 3.5-point dog. Pretty much knocked them out of national title contention. They need a lot of teams ahead of them to lose another game. Probably not going to happen. They're still playing for Pac-12 title, though. So this is a big game for both teams. But it's a huge step up in class for USC. If you look at their last 3 wins, since they did bounce back off that Utah loss with 3 straight wins, but they've done so against 3 weak opponents. They've been a 2-touchdown favorite or more in all 3 games. In fact, the last 2 games, they've been a 21 and 34-point favorite. So this is a huge step up in class now. And USC has struggled against tougher opponents over the last couple months. It's only happened twice. They lost outright at Utah as a dog, and they barely beat Oregon State as a 5.5-point favorite. Only won 17-14. Had to come from behind in the second half to win that game on the road. So this is their other true road test here, and I think the wrong team is favored. Also like UCLA because of the better defensive team as an underdog. Both offenses averaging 7.2 yards per play this year. But USC gives up almost a half yard per play more, 6 yards per play allowed versus just 5.4 for UCLA. And UCLA also qualifies as an excellent running underdog, 240 rushing yards, 6.3 yards per carry per game this year. Better rushing attack, better defense as a home dog. I like UCLA here. My math model favors them as well to win by 2.5. I think the wrong team is favored. Take a look at the UCLA Bruins at 8 o'clock Eastern on Saturday night. All right, the other Big 12, Pac-12 head-to-head top 25 matchup comes at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN Saturday night. Number 10, Utah against number 12, Oregon. A lot of uncertainty in this game. Earlier in the week, Oregon was as high as a 3.5-point favorite. Bo Nix has been questionable. Starting quarterback Bo Nix has been questionable after getting injured last week against Washington. Head coach Dan Lanning's been very quiet about if he was going to play or not. But an interesting thing happened on Wednesday during the media interviews. Oregon wide receiver Chris Hudson was asked about his confidence level in backup Ty Thompson. And Hudson said, quote, obviously, Bo is down, so it's the next man up. He's good at decision-making, etc., etc. The media, the odds makers, basically everyone assumed that means Nix is probably not going to play. Head coach Lanning jumped in and said he's still expecting him to start, game time decision. The betting market, though, which is obviously the great indicator because real money is being bet versus just coach speak, says a different story. And the reason I say that is because Oregon was a 3-point favorite, as I said. That's where they opened. That's where the line was on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. And then on Wednesday night, boom, Utah quickly becomes a 2 to 2.5 point road favorite. So the line goes from +3 to -2 on Wednesday night. And the total also moved from 62.5 down to 60.5 in most locations. So money on Utah, money on the under. Definitely looks like Bo Nix is not going to start here for Oregon. So a lot of uncertainty here for the Ducks. And it makes this game difficult to handicap. First of all, my math projection with Bo Nix in the lineup is Oregon by 3.5. That was my database simulation, 10,000 simulations. Over half the time, Oregon won by 3.5 points or more. But once again, the line was 3, pretty much exactly in line with my math. Hard to know exactly how much of a downgrade for Thompson at quarterback. And you also wonder if it's really going to be a spark for Oregon. This is a team that had their national title hopes shot down last week when losing to Washington 37-34 as a 12.5-point favorite. It was their second loss of the season. Keep in mind that opening week loss at Georgia where they got blown out, in hindsight, didn't probably hurt them as much. But now that second loss definitely eliminates any national title playoff hopes and really is a blow for the Pac-12 title as well. And now without their quarterback possibly playing, you do have to be concerned about the Oregon mindset. Once again, if Nix plays and is healthy, there's definitely value with Oregon. My math model favors the Ducks by 3.5, all things equal. But without him in the lineup, Utah is definitely the better defensive team. Not definitely, but slightly better. 20 points versus 27 allowed, 5.8 versus 6.1. So they are the better defensive team. Both offenses pretty explosive. Oregon's been better overall statistically this year. But once again, that's with Bo Nix at quarterback. We don't know if he's going to play or not. The over would be worth a look if Oregon comes a little flat. And has dropped a couple points. But once again, backup quarterback with Thompson. Just don't know exactly what to expect. So this is a difficult game to handicap. Keep an eye on the news. This game goes late at 10:30 Eastern Saturday night, so maybe we'll get a more definitive answer. But the betting markets, and at least wide receiver Hudson, make it appear that Bo Nix is not expected to start for Oregon on Saturday night. All right, those are the only two true top 25 head-to-head matchups. Normally we have 3 or 4 games this time of the year, but since we didn't have any more top 25s, I'm going to give you 2 games that just missed the cut games. They were just a bit outside, as I say in my baseball videos. Before we get to those 2 bonus games for you, which involve 2 of the top playoff caliber teams right now, in just a moment for free here, I want to remind you, December is a great month for all sports. November is pretty darn good as well because we have 4 major sports going basically on a daily basis. College and pro football, and then of course NBA and college basketball do go every single day. 4 major sports, football and basketball almost every day of the week. Why wait until December? Get those bowl games as well. It's going to be $2.99 for the month of December. That's what a monthly package costs at wagertalk.com. But right now, special offer this weekend. If you get on board right now and get December, I'm going to give you the rest of November all sports, every college and pro football and basketball best bet every day for free. That's over 2 weeks remaining, and you get it for free right now, SteveMerril, If you're joining us Friday night when this video goes live, get on board right now. If you're on Saturday, don't miss out. I've got 5 strong college football best bets loaded right now for my clients for Saturday. NFL posted in advance as well. I love the college and pro football card this weekend. Instead of buying the single games, lock in the next month and a half for just $2.99. December's $2.99, and if you sign up now, you get the rest of November included for free. It's Black Friday coming a week early, so don't delay. This offer is good all week through Black Friday, but every day you delay is an extra day you're not getting for free in November, right? So don't wait any longer. Get on board right now. No promo code needed. Buy that December All Sports and get the rest of November these next couple weeks for free. That's the rest of 2022, the rest of the year for just $2.99. Every NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball play every day and night for one low price. Right now, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. All right, I gave you the 2 true top 25 head-to-head matchups for week number 12. 2 games that just missed the cut involved 2 of the best teams in the country. Number 1 ranked Georgia, number 3 Michigan. The reason I'm going to mention these games, though, is because their opponents were ranked top 25 a week ago in the playoff rankings, but they both fell out of the rankings this week. So these are games that just missed the cut. Let's start at noon Eastern with that Michigan game. Illinois, unranked Illinois, who was 21st last week at number 3 Michigan, goes at 12 noon Eastern on ABC. First of all, total has dropped several points in this game. I think part of the move this week had to do with the concern of the weather, that lake effect storm. By the way, the Buffalo Bills-Cleveland Brown game has been canceled in Buffalo. It's been moved to Detroit, relocated, I guess you could say. So anybody who had a bet on that earlier this week, that will be voided. You will have to put that new bet in at the neutral location. And by the way, I forgot to mention, NFL Fade the Public video, week number 11 version, will be ready on Saturday afternoon right here on this channel. That's a great reason to hit subscribe, and hitting the bell gives you an instant alert when these videos go live each and every week. So don't forget to check out NFL Fade the Public every Saturday afternoon here on Wager Talk TV. But back to college football. Michigan Wolverines, I talked about this earlier, have probably the biggest game of the season for any team next week against Ohio State. Next Saturday, right after Thanksgiving, they go to Columbus. And I think the Tennessee-Georgia game was probably the biggest game of the season. But now this Michigan-Ohio State game is the biggest game of the season because Tennessee's a little bit on the outside looking in after losing to Georgia. Could still get back in that top 4, but Michigan and Ohio State, one of those teams is guaranteed to have a loss after next week. It'll be interesting to see if they can stay in the top 4 playoff. I do think Michigan wants to win by a margin for that reason, but they also have to get caught maybe looking ahead a little bit to the big showdown in Columbus. Let's look at the math. First of all, my math model favors Michigan by 24.5. My database simulation favors the Wolverines by 24.5 points. So there is line value with Michigan in this game. Currently, the betting market has them at minus 18. I mentioned that this total has dropped a bit earlier from this week. Opened 44. It's down to 40.5. Doesn't look like there's going to be much snow. Heading into the weekend, at least on Thursday and Friday when I'm checking the weather reports, doesn't look like Michigan's going to get that much where it'll affect the game. I think part of the reason was the weather, but another reason is that both teams love to control the ball and run the ball. In fact, Illinois ranks 6th in time of possession. Michigan ranks 3rd in the entire nation in time of possession. So both teams do like ball control offense. Illinois also a defensive dog here. Very rarely do we see in Week 12 a team getting more points, a touchdown more than they allow in the season. After 10 games, Illinois has given up just 12.5 points. They've given up only 125 points in 10 games this season. Now they're getting 18. So that's what makes this game difficult to play. The line value is with Michigan at 24.5. And my database simulation does factor in the slowdown defensive style of Illinois. In fact, I've been bullish on Michigan, as you all know, all season long. We've used them quite often. Most of the time, the math favors them here in this video when we talk about them. And I said over a month and a half ago, they were my pick as a dark horse national title winner when they were more than 20-1. Obviously, those odds are long gone now that they're top 3. But you do worry about this setup here. Illinois, a good defensive dog, and Michigan has that look ahead towards Ohio State next week. So I think the setup favors Illinois. Unfortunately, the line value does not, so it'd be a pass for me. I'd actually lean Michigan at minus 18 just because my math model favors them by 24.5. The one other game that was just missing the cut is Georgia at Kentucky, and that's because number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs will go on the road at 3:30 Eastern on CBS on Saturday afternoon to play at Kentucky. Kentucky was ranked 24th last week in the playoff rankings. They were unranked in the AP, and they were also ranked last week 24th in the coaches poll. So they were a top 25 team last week. They obviously fell out of the rankings probably for good this season after losing to Vanderbilt, a bad loss as a 17-point favorite, and they've now dropped 4 of their last 6 games straight up. Interesting enough, all 6 of those games have stayed under the total. Not a surprise. They've scored 21 points or less in 5 of those last 6 games. Offense is really struggling right now. This is a team that hasn't run the ball well this season, but does throw it pretty well. And what's interesting is last week they ran for 213 yards and still lost as a 2.5 touchdown favorite against Vanderbilt. Obviously, if you're having offensive problems, Georgia is not a good opponent to be facing as they give up just 11.5 points per game, just 4.5 yards per play. Georgia does have Georgia Tech on deck next week. That's a rival game, but I doubt they're going to really be looking ahead to Georgia Tech, a much weaker team. Are coming off a big road win against Mississippi State, which follows that Tennessee game and followed the Florida rivalry cocktail party game. Can't call it the biggest outdoor cocktail party anymore. I forget what they call it. But this is a possible flat spot for Georgia if they're not careful. The question becomes, can Kentucky do anything about it? Kentucky does throw the ball well, 8.5 yards per pass. So they have what we call backdoor cover potential. If Georgia's up late by 27, 28 points, then maybe Kentucky sneaks in and loses by just 21. This point spread, by the way, is currently 22.5. It opened 22.5. It's pretty much stayed there all week. My math model favors Georgia. The database simulation favors them by 23.5. So the line's pretty much where it needs to be, and not a game I'll probably be involved in. But once again, Georgia, the best team in college football this year. I think most people agree on that now after their manhandling of Tennessee. And keep in mind what they did to Tennessee defensively. They shut down a Tennessee offense that was averaging almost 50 points a game, held them to 13 points a couple weeks ago, and just about 280 total yards. Kentucky, as I said, scored 21 or less 5 of their last 6 games. Not a good team to be playing here. They do have some backdoor cover potential, but once again, that offense has been pretty cold, and there's really not much line value either way. So probably a game that's best left alone. I'm not in a hurry to get in front of either Georgia or Michigan, as they're 2 of the best teams in the country. Once again, those aren't 2 true top 25 matchups, but both Kentucky and Illinois were ranked last week. Wanted to give you a little bonus content here on Wager Talk TV since we only had 2 true top 25 matchups in the Pac-12 this week. Hey, look, I hope you found the information useful. As always, comment below. You know I love my comments. I read every one of them and I reply back. Let me know your thoughts. Will you agree or disagree with the math this week? Let me know which games you like here that we talked about. Let me know your sleeper, your under-the-radar picks on the other games and some of the big matchups you're looking at in college football this week. Give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Give it a like, a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the bell for an instant alert when my NFL Fade the Public video goes live on Saturday afternoon, as we always love to fade the public late in the season. Keep in mind, when 31-8 a couple years ago when I started in late November 2020, this is the time of the year that Fade the Public is going to start to work well. Let's keep track and see how it does from here on out. That'll be up Saturday afternoon here on Wager Talk TV. Don't forget also about the Wager Talk TV app. Download it for your favorite mobile device. You can also catch these shows on audio version on podcast apps as well. So when you're on the go, Wager Talk TV app and also the podcast app works really well. And most importantly, have some fun this weekend. Enjoy the games. Comment below and check back this Saturday for NFL Fade the Public right here on Wager Talk TV. Don't forget, on the way out, get the rest of November free. I've got 5 strong college football best bets. By the way, plus a bonus free play. Check out my page during the weekend for NFL and college football free plays. They've been doing really well. Basketball free plays have done well this week also. Check out wagertalk.com for free plays every day from numerous cappers. My page does have a college football free play, plus those 5 strong best bets for Saturday for my personal clients. Big NFL card for Sunday loaded as well. Get the rest of November, including this weekend, for free when you get on board for December. That's all sports, every play, every day and night for the next month and a half. Pro football, college football, NBA, and college basketball on a daily basis for the next month and a half, the rest of 2022. Get December for $2.99. You get the rest of November for free. Don't delay. Every day you wait is another day you're not getting for free. Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. Hey, if you like Twitter, follow me on Twitter as well, at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril, at Steve Merril on Twitter. And once again, I'll be back Saturday afternoon with NFL Fade the Public right here on Wager Talk TV. Enjoy the games. Best of luck this weekend.